Yet again, with all the news show that has been happening around Miss O, the web is back on examining how she set up Michael Jackson in that scandalous meeting and sully his appearance perpetually in the Jackson family. Included Janet Jackson actually hold areas of strength for and against Miss O for doing MJ filthy kid with this large number of individuals calling her out the web is persuaded that she causes more damage to dark vocations than she does great now we as a whole. No Miss O has been in. The information in the recent weeks since everyone and their mother has been calling her out. It began with Taraji separating while at the same time advancing purple, and things just began to twisting from that point. Taraji's disclosures of how she was come up short on for the film began a discussion that just spiraled wild, making fans raise her past and how there were different examples where she purportedly debased professions. And have you at any point asked why the Jackson family don't rate her? And they don't connect with her. She did Michael grimy during the 90s, and afterwards she attempted to play in his family's face after he passed, so it's nothing unexpected in that Janet Jackson is additionally denouncing her and blaming her for demolishing dark specialists, including her sibling. Do you think Oprah deceived Michael totally? Mom totally 100%, and I feel like she double-crossed him as well as yet my family for some setting. The show began in 1993 when MJ consented to plunk down with her for a selective meeting at his Neverland home. Having an elite with MJ at his pinnacle was no joking matter in light of the fact that you all skill private MJ was, and the meeting was a significant hit. It got her name out there universally. It actually stays one of the most famous VIP meetings ever. MJ consented to the meeting to address well-established bits of hearsay that have been going around for quite a while. These tales included charges about Michael despising his dark skin and needing to be white, the way that he generally needed to be a lady, the way in which he dozed in oxygen loads because of his well-being, how he was fixated on his pet chimp Air Pockets and how Air Pockets was his dearest companion, how he had an Ed, how he was a miscreant who exploited kids thus substantially. More young lady. The gossip feast was in overdrive when it came to MJ, so he chose to at last address the tales unequivocally. This interview was a shared benefit for them both on the grounds that MJ would have at last let every one of the charges go and improved Michael's public picture. And this interview would push her name and brand worldwide, further develop her television evaluations. Yet, while Michael anticipated a queue and a meeting, she had different plans as a primary concern, since what should be a meeting to tidy up his picture ended up being a boring meeting that wound up compounding the situation. When the camera began moving, she began the meeting by inquiring as to whether he had gone through any type of restorative medical procedure. Accordingly, Michael explained that he hadn't gone through any broad corrective systems or did anything to his face anyway. He transparently conceded to having had a nose work and credited changes in his skin tone to vitiligo, skin condition he was managing. Anyway, she didn't ease off and she proceeded to push, and it reached a place where she began to make it appear as though MJ was telling a blatant lie. Even while Jay attempted to make sense of, she would continually interfere with him to pose an inquiry that exacerbated him. Then when the meeting began, how about we go to what is most talked about you, I believe, is the way that the shade of your skin is clearly unique. In relation to it was the point at which you were more youthful, thus I think, caused a lot of hypothesis and debate regarding what you have done or are doing. Are you dyeing your skin? And is your skin lighter, since you could do without being dark? Okay, number one, there as aware of, there is no such thing as skin fading. I have never seen it. I don't have the foggiest idea what it is. Well, they used to have those items growing up. I used to hear consistently use dye and sparkle, yet you must have around 300,000 gallons to affirm. Number one, this is what is going on. I have a skin problem that annihilates the pigmentation of the skin, is something that I can't help. Okay, yet when individuals make up stories that I would rather not be who I'm, it harms me. So it is never. Alas, that is not all, since she continued to discuss MJ's father Joe, who is referred to have abused MJ as a kid. For clear reasons, MJ felt a sort of way about discussing his father, yet he uncovered that he actually cherished his father and had pardoned him. Yet in spite of this, she kept on pushing, saying that MJ was willfully ignorant and required treatment. Expressing this in a meeting that circulated globally was simply insane and was way off the mark, particularly when the mark of the meeting was to work on MJ's picture, yet deteriorates on the grounds that then she chose to examine MJ regarding his fellowship with children. and why he wanted to connect with kids, really the manner in which questions were being set up. It painted MJ out to be a screwball around kids, yet he killed it, guaranteeing that the explanation he wanted to associate with kids is that they were blameless and unadulterated, and being around them helped him to remember a youth that he never had the meeting in. Annoyed individuals, since it seemed like she not just scrutinized his responses, it seemed like she censored him. She exploited his weakness to get him on her show, just to wind up aggravating him to compound the situation. A couple of months after the meeting, the main allegation of Say was unveiled, and it polluted his picture perpetually in light of the fact that individuals continued alluding to the meeting and saying that MJ should be blameworthy. And afterward, in 2019, a 4-hour narrative, which was Med Leaving Neverland, was delivered, and it zeroed in on two men named Swim Robson and James Sechu as they discussed the supposed saw they endured on account of MJ in his Neverland home. When they were young men, it didn't take long for her to embed herself into the circumstance, since she went on to meet with Swim Robson and James Safechuck, given the entire narrative a greater stage for the story to spread. Yet the thing is, the court previously got Michael Jackson for this situation, and one free from. The two informers Swim Robson affirmed under that he was never saved by Michael. So, for what reason was she bringing this up? When they began, and when I was 11 in any event. When I was 22 and later. I had no comprehension that how Michael treated me with stomach muscle. I had no understanding of it, being that from night one of her choice to return to the Say case got bunches of fans and VIPs distraught on the grounds that it was like she was playing topics. Her best friend Harvey Weinstein was sentenced for C, yet she wouldn't shout out on him, her focusing all the more light on Michael Jackson's case and disregarding her to companions who were indicted. Kind for makes the entire thing super sister circumstance, with Taraji as of late launched the discussion encompassing her and MJ, and, surprisingly, his niece Licker Jackson openly got down on her and blamed her for involving the Jackson family for clout, even after MJ passed. Do you think Oprah deceived Ed Michael? Totally me, totally 100%, and I feel like she sold out him as well. As yet my family, well, Cognac isn't the only one shouting out on the grounds that, as per reports, even right up to the present day, Janet additionally holds resentment against her for attempting to benefit off her family's torment. And truly this checks out concerning why no one from the Jackson family will at any point connect with her, particularly in light of the fact that she never apologized for blaming everything on MJ like that. And surprisingly, the fans feel the same way. I used to have a ton of regard for her, yet after she dissed Michael, I lost all regard for her. She owes the Jackson family a conciliatory sentiment just after she owes Monique a statement of regret. You all drop your considerations on this in the remarks then. At that point, look at this next video.